Today I'm going to show you how to make a classic South African dessert. This is one of my favorite desserts and it's called MALVA pudding, and you find it many restaurants in South Africa, so definitely worth a visit there. But I'm going to show you an easy way to make MALVA pudding, which is delicious and will have your friends and family shouting out for more. So the ingredients you are going to need are very easy to get, and everything about it is you just got to remember the number 1. So you are going to be needing, for the batter, 1 cup of sugar. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1 tablespoon of batter, 1 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of apricot jam, 1 egg, and the cream, which will be 1 cup of cream, but that's going to be for the saucy sauce that I'll tell you how to make a little bit later. And you're going to need 1 cup of flour. Now, because I have a friend who is a little bit gluten intolerant, I'm going to be using spelt flour because he can stomach spelt flour without having adverse effects. And if you want, you can put in a tablespoon of brandy or whiskey just to give it an extra kick. I didn't want to pay the high prices for a bottle of whiskey. This is Swedish whiskey. I have no idea how close it tastes. It looks a little bit pale, but we'll see how that goes. You're going to use your kitchen processor or blender or whatever. I've got one of these like little stick ones that's got this handy little whisk at the end, and so you're going to want to mix together your egg mixture and your softened butter and your, what else did I put in here? Egg batter and sugar together. Now the next step is going to be to add in a tablespoon of jam, and then you're going to put in, it's only a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then you'll put in your 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of everything else, and you're going to mix it together. So that's the jam and 1 tablespoon of vinegar that's in. I'm just going to give that a little whisk. I'll give like a little whisk in between each so that it's all mixed together before I add in the next ingredient. Okay, that's the 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda that I'm going to mix in now. I put this little cover on so that it's got a gap just big enough for me to put my little mixer in, and so that it doesn't splash everywhere. So you add in the flour, the 1 cup of flour, then I'm going to add to that the 1 cup of milk, and I'm going to sort of add it in gradually. The apple cider there is not for the MALVA pudding. That is, one's got to drink something while you're baking. You need to have put your oven on at 180 degrees Celsius, or the Fahrenheit equivalent. I'm not too sure what that is. Yeah, I just bought a little oven, so I'm testing it out today. So you want to grease a a baking pan that can withstand the oven heat, and you're going to put your mixture in there. It is quite runny, so don't panic. That's how it's supposed to be. No panicking is allowed in Cindy's International Travel Kitchen. So you're going to put this runny batter into your greased baking dish. Once it's in the oven-proof dish, next step is to get some aluminium foil and make a lid for the dish. It's very, very, very important that you cover this before you put it in the oven, and it remains covered throughout the 45 minutes to 1 hour that it's going to take to bake. It depends on your oven, you know, ovens differ. Some ovens are a little bit stronger than others, would take 45 minutes. I'm not too sure. I'll probably have a secret peek at about 45 minutes to see if the baking part is complete. But the reason for covering with foil is so that when you take it out the oven and it is still piping hot, that's when you're going to pour on the saucy sauce that you've made, and then it gets absorbed completely into the sponge cake that you've made, and that's what gives it that unbelievable taste. So you're going to melt in half a cup of butter and add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract and about a cupful of whiskey or brandy or that random Swedish drink that I put in. And then you're going to add 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of cream, and half a cup of boiling water, and then you're going to let that all melt together. So we're going to pour in whipping cream as opposed to whipped cream, because we are not into kinky stuff like whipping. So everything is now blended together and it is ready to pour over the hot pudding. So we're going to pour this sauce that we've made all over, because it's got to soak in. And it's okay if you make too much sauce, because it's actually quite nice to keep for something else. Okay. So with the sauce soaked into the sponge, it is time to dish it up, and you can serve it with cream or ice cream and enjoy. And I'll see you on the next adventure.